All right, we are live.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. A little short crew here tonight. Get her done because there's 4 of us. And we'll start right away with the approval of tonight's agenda.
So, second.
Motion by Mary and second by Roy.
You're next.
Discussion?
You're next.
Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carried. Item 3 is to approve our consent calendar, which is minutes of the previous meeting and payment of bills.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Roy. Discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 4 is a presentation of Discover Staples tourism update.
Yes,
Julian?
it'll be me. Unless you guys would like Renee to come. She was planning on being here tonight. She had surgery recently and she's not doing well today, and so she wasn't able to make it. But we do want to get the agreement approved, and with that, you need the presentation. So she did send me over a bunch of information, and that's all the handouts you guys have. So I'm going to do the best I can, and if I can't answer your questions, then we'll get Renee to come in and do that for you. She did send me this, so helping people to see Staples is a vibrant, fun, and enticing community with everything you need and nothing you don't. That's the goal of Discover Staples and the initiatives we undertake. I think that pretty much sums up Discover Staples and how that group has really identified Staples as a tourism destination. So over the past year, worked on identifying who we are as a community and a tourist destination. We have to offer tourists, day travelers, and giving people a reason to turn in on 10. Did hire Strateligent, a marketing firm that has some experience in the Staples community. So that was an easy kind of transition. They understood the community already. They did interviews with various stakeholders in our community and identified the uniqueness and the draw the river has. Through kind of trying to self-identify who we are. If we're not a railroad town, who are we? Kind of identified ourselves as a river town. And so also identifying the type of traveler who would like to have what we have to offer. So basically this is someone who enjoys the simple things and sees the value of getting away, exploring, making new memories, spending actual quality time together. Ways that we've done the group has done efforts to reach out to those people, designed a new logo that speaks more to tourism. And what we have to offer here, it has tourism colors and a blue swipe, which signifies the river. You guys do have a handout within your stack there of the new logo that Strateligent created and the group had approved. And there's a few different ways that it's being used for advertising is also in your packets there. Or that we can use it for advertising. Kind of more eye-catching than what we had before with the black and red. Working on a new updated website for Discover Staples, something that's more comparable to like the Grand Rapids area, something, you know, our old website was nice. Looking for something that steps it up a little bit and is compatible or competitive even with other communities that are maybe higher on the tourism scale. So there is in your handouts, there's also a website proposal. So this is some of the dollars, things that the dollars will be going towards is what you're seeing here. So last year we did the logo. In the coming year, the website proposal is what'll be worked on. Let's see. Currently working with the Staples World on creating a new 2022 visitors guide. Working with Timberlake Hotel, creating a downtown map. That way, any service organization would be able to, if somebody's asking where a certain park is or where the coffee shop is, they can pull up that map be a map of the community, circle where it is on the map, and they can see the streets and how to get there. It's something that other communities do really well, and it's something that guests at the hotel and other visitors have asked for. So trying to make sure that that happens, and our tourists have options and know how to get places. There is a new Little Falls billboard sign going up this month. It's going to be simplified from the one that's currently there. I believe it has 3 visuals on it, kind of a summer, winter, and fall, spring kind of theme to it. It's too busy. It's been hard for people to notice it because it's too busy. So the simplifying it with the new logo and a website. Explore Minnesota will have to be on there as well. And then it'll just say, I think it's fun for all seasons. She was gonna get me one of that, and I haven't seen it, or I have seen it, but I haven't printed it, so I apologize, I haven't gotten that to you, but it'll basically be the logo with the fun for all seasons. And then so you can take a peek at that along Highway 10 there. So they're identifying businesses that can host or promote an outlet for people to come to Staples and tube down the river. There has been some interest from a couple different businesses located in that area. We do have Wahoo Valley, and then there's the other potential options of maybe the golf course and other places that could kind of fill that role as well. So working with the state travel industry on securing $17,000 in grants to promote tourism to Staples by advertising in regional community guides and online ad placement for people searching for hotels in this area, especially pet-friendly ones, campsites, beach, or water access. Focusing on trail accessibility in the wintertime, a lot of it being around the snowmobiling and all the great trails that we do have in the area. And then there's a photographer that's been out all seasons that Renee and the Discover Staples Committee has been working with for quite a while now. And he comes and he takes photos, and so we're building that area of photos to be able to utilize in advertising, and then also the website, et cetera. Let's see. Newest campaign is to explore like a local, tell people how to get places, don't assume people will know what the Centennial Auditorium is, explain it is inside of the high school. So that's some of the examples of, if you live here forever, you just know, but if somebody comes into town and somebody says, yeah, it's at the Centennial Auditorium, a lot of people from outside of the town don't know. So there's an education component that we're working on with the community on how to talk to visitors to the community. It also ties in and being involved with the downtown revitalization plan that the EDA initiated. They are doing stuff like filling the empty windows. Right now, working with Colleen at the Bachelor Block Opera House and filling those windows in. And an artist that is doing that, as well as looking for, or working on securing grants and funding for murals around the community that, you know, it'll give reasons for people to be in that area. So that's kind of more of a community marketing piece. The tourism taxpayer dollars aren't going towards it, but it's still something that the coordinator is working on to give tourists the ability or the reason to be down in that area as well. It says, finally, we are going to take all the best of what we are doing for this community and promote this among our human resource directors and managers in Staples. Oftentimes if the HR person hiring or recruiting isn't from Staples, they are limited on their knowledge. And so again, back to that education portion, filling that gap and communicating the fun and joy of Staples as a simple boilerplate of an email with a link to our updated website and brochure. So that is what her update says for the most part. You do have a proposed 2022 budget in front of you as well. So you can see where some of the additional dollars are coming from. She's got approximately $62,970 going out, if I'm reading this right, 65,000 approximate. Hold on here. Total budget for 2020 was 56,500. There was some carryover. In the end, we're looking at around 66,000. The actual, which is actually pretty amazing. This year she hasn't estimated, I don't think she changed her dates on here, so that's where I'm getting confused, but I want to say it was an estimated 29,000. That total that they would be getting paid out approximately is 33,231, so there's some additional dollars. That means the lodging had some good flow, even with all of the obstacles over the last couple of years. But she is getting grants from many different sources, Explore Minnesota, other local foundations and stuff. So she's essentially been doubling her budget through grants and other funding sources, which is exactly what we want to see. Any questions?
Appears to be pretty quiet.
On the agenda, you do have approval of the tourism marketing agreement. It's next on there. There's just one point that I want to make on there is it did transition a couple of years ago from to the chamber, or a year ago to chamber. It is going back over to LEAP is the recommendation and what this agreement states. Part of that is the oversight that LEAP is able to give rather than the chamber as far as having staff that can help coordinate the meetings, take the minutes and that kind of stuff, as well as them being a 501c3 as opposed to a C6, been utilizing LEAP anyways over the last few years, or over the last year, as a lot of grants aren't available to chambers, but they are available to C3s. And then the only change on that is actually the number of board members went from 7 to 5 over the last, since this started, 4 years. It has been a struggle to find 7 tourism-related members that show up. And so rather than continuously trying to find somebody to participate, it's been working well the way it is. And so we figured we would just change that in the agreement. There is no statute that requires there to be 7. It was just a number that was picked at the original time and modified as we've learned as we go.
Okay. Well, so you're referring, so you jumped us ahead, correct?
I jumped you ahead, I'm sorry. I just wanted to tell you that.
Basically, the update was item 4, then item number 5 would be to consider the approval of our tourism marketing agreement with LEAP. Okay. And so that's what Melissa was referring to, that it's now back with LEAP.
As opposed to the chamber.
That's a 3-year?
It's a 2-year.
So we would.
December of 2024?
Yeah, we would need a motion to approve that agreement.
I will make the motion to return to LEAP as our fiscal agent and accept the proposed budget as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion and a second by Mary and Roy. Discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Cool, well, thank you for pinch hitting. Gotta find my baseball terminology since we can't use it, you know. Well, no baseball going on. Find our
Gotta
way.
think spring.
Trying to find something to do to get my mind off that stuff. Anyway, we'll move on to item number 6, and that's to consider approval of resolution 1868 establishing precincts and polling places for the election boundaries of the voting precincts.
I'll move resolution 1868.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ron, second by Roy. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 7 is to consider approval of pawnbroker's license. And I believe there's some info in your packet.
So moved.
Motion by Mary, second by Roy. Discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8 is to consider approval of agreement for application, hosting, and technology support services with Avenue Enterprise Solutions LLC. Is that what it is?
Yeah, a copy of the agreement in there, basically, it's just an extension of the agreement that we have with them. That's our finance and utility billing stuff. extending it for a 6-month period during which we'll be ramping up our Tyler technology software. Then this will go away.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Roy, second by Ron. Discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Move us to item number 9, and that's to consider approval of Resolution 1869, accepting a donation from Lakewood Health System.
Can I move that or not?
I don't think there's too big a conflict on that one.
Okay, I'll make that motion for 1869.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mary,
The
second
heck,
by
we might as
Ron.
well just really top it off.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That'll move us to item number 10, and that's to consider approval of Sacred Heart Area School temporary liquor license.
So a copy of the application in the packet. And that's basically, what's the event called?
So it's a spring blast.
Spring Blast, yeah,
That's Sacred Heart's largest, event,
Yeah.
year money-wise.
yeah. So this is something that we've approved for many years, so I would recommend approval.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion by Mary,
Second.
second by Ron. Discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. That'll move us to committee reports. Scott, you got Public Works?
We wrapped up our cybersecurity assessment. And like it says in the minutes here, we did well in some things, not so well in others. We'll probably have more to report as we work on addressing some of the recommendations from that assessment. Lead and copper rule, this is about water lines, about removing lead water lines. Right now, we're not aware of any in Staples, but we do, as part of the new rule, we will have to get inside of every building that has a water service and determine what size and what type of pipe they have. We will be putting water nodes on all the meters for as part of the AMI project, so we hope we can roll some of that into complying with the lead and copper rule. It's going to be time consuming, but it's not I'm not really concerned about it. WAPA, we buy most of our power from Missouri River Energy, and then we buy the rest from WAPA, which is the Western Area Power Authority or Association, I don't remember which, but we buy 23% of our power from there. Because of the drought out west, there's going to be a small increase. There's a webinar on Friday, I believe, they'll talk about it. However, we saw a 5% reduction in our rates from Missouri River, so it should offset any increase that we receive from WAPA. If anybody wants to watch the webinar, the link is in the minutes here. The Wellhead Protection Plan, we have to have a 60-day review and comment period, which we'll be doing that through March and April, and hopefully on the May 10th council meeting, we can have a public hearing to approve the plan. It's not there's not going to be any significant changes from the last one. The management area is pretty much the same. The emergency area is the same, so there shouldn't be any big changes there. The wastewater treatment plant is substantially complete. However, there's still some disagreement on what the date was and on some of the expenses that were incurred during the month of December, basically. And also some of the other engineering expenses, some of our guys' time, things like that. The construction firm believes that they were done in December. We disagree, and we think the date is January 21st. So that has to get ironed out. We've had some discussions on how we proceed, and you'll notice in the pay request that we didn't pay them, we withheld some money. But right now, we're still talking back and forth, so we have no decision, and Gerald maybe will give you more of a report on that later, but that's where we're at. We'll keep you posted as.
We'll know a lot more 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. And then some good news, as part of Missouri River, there's different transmission groups. We belong in the Northern Cities group. Over the years, that group has built up quite a reserve, more than what we think we'll ever need. So just got the notice today that we will be, because of the large reserve, we decided to, members of the Northern Cities group got together with Missouri River, decided that we'll rebate some of that reserve. Our portion will be $138,000. We'll see that in April.
Nice.
So that's a great way to end it.
All right. Any questions for Scott? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thought that was gonna trigger a motion to adjourn.
All right, we'll move to the Staples Economic Development Authority.
Try following that up.
Sorry. So we met on February 22nd. It was a long meeting, but short minutes. The majority of the time was spent with a presentation from Warren Westcott from Golden Shovel, talking about what they offer for websites, and then a gatekeeper service, which is basically marketing assistance via social media, website. They help with content and all that. And so a lot of that that meeting was spent talking to him about what they offer. Over the last year, almost year, kind of been talking about the EDA getting its own separate website that can speak to those site selectors, developers, and really get that information out in a very organized and well-updated way that actually speaks their language. I think the city's website does an amazing job speaking to the city residents. We need to be able to speak to those that we're trying to attract as well. And so there's been no decision made. It has been budgeted. It's a 3-year, 0% format that we're able to finance it out. But I'm hoping to have a decision at the next meeting. But that's kind of what the majority of that meeting was spent on. Talked about Valley View and how there's a couple developers that are interested in doing twin homes, asking them to submit proposals to the city council for that. And then the city can determine who they would want to sell those lots to. Unfortunately, we always have more than one developer looking at the same spot. So it's great, but I'd love it if they were looking at 2 different areas. And then the other update that I shared is that the Wadena County has allocated $135,000 to the city of Staples for the Wadena County portion of the community of their ARPA funds to be used to invest in sewer and water infrastructure for housing development. As of the date of this meeting, the dollars at this point are still allocated to us, but the most recent update is they're still researching on exactly what we can utilize those dollars for. And so I have been very thoroughly reading the ARPA requirements myself personally so I can understand them better and what those uses can be. So they're basically saying that the best use of their funds would be to get long-term development into their communities, and so that's why they wanted to allocate that. And they did that based on a population calculation. Exactly what that is, I don't know how to tell you, but that was kind of how we had our dollars allocated to us. Otherwise, we ended the meeting at 6:46.
Any questions for Melissa? Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, take us to open forum. And open forum, all right, we'll move to city administrators report.
Just a few update items. We did meet with the township board members for the fire service contracts back in February. I don't know if we have more contracts in yet at this point. We typically deal with that at their March annual meeting, but you know, well, some usual questions from one of the townships. Yet the formula that we have been using, I think, works well, and it's kind of fun to be at those meetings where it's actually other townships defending the formula when people question it. So I just unlocked the door and made a pot of coffee. It was good. Lead, we had a lead meeting here a couple weeks ago. One of the things that we brought up and had a little discussion on was the sales tax referendum and the role that we were some subcommittee of lead may be able to play in that, so more to come. As Melissa was reporting, Valley View, you know, we can't, the quiet title process is not done yet, but there's a lot of interest out there in developing that area, so that's very good news, I think, and it'll be fun to see, you know, stuff going up at a more rapid pace than it has been. Union negotiations next week on the 16th. Mary, Roy, not Chris. That's ASCII, and it's not that, you know, we're at a stalemate or anything. It was kind of the end of the year, and then it snowed. So that's our spring department, so we're hopefully be able to wrap that up next week with them. As far as the wastewater plant, you know, I think Scott kind of summarized it fairly well. You know, the contractor, you know, feels that they met the requirements for substantial completion at one time. The city and the engineers who, you know, ultimately get to decide on it, is substantially complete. Don't agree with that based on some of the outstanding work that needed to be done. And you recall there's an agreement that that was approved back in November, identifying, you know, some of the additional engineering time that would be required because of the extended project. They would cover that. And so we'll, you know, we'll get there. We'll get resolution. There's some different opinions right now. So, and that is all I have.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion Ron, second by Roy to adjourn. Discussion, not hearing any, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
One of these days, I'm gonna get in there and get it done first. Thanks, Ron. So when did Ryan